Here are 5 things that I think the Republicans are doing right now to narrow and even undermine their chances of a Trump victory. By the right, I mean anyone from the Republican National Committee to online influencers, to your neighbors, to yourself, to me. And here are some ideas that I have at the end that we can do to reverse this. Look, I actually have experience volunteering in campaigns. I've even ran a campaign office, and there are some significant differences and details that I do not hear these online influencers on the right mentioning, and those details are important. And I cannot put my points in any specific order. However, the last point that I'm going to make is the most consequential one, and the one that you can potentially turn around and be proactive about. Number 1, wasting time on esoteric issues. The last-minute voter is not going to care about Hunter Biden's laptop. It's probably a MacGuffin, anyway. Or the Epstein client list, or an affair that Kamala had 25 years ago. No, what you should do, talk about the surge in prices at Target, at Costco, something that is directly important to them. Crime, no cash bail, stand-down orders. All the chaos, the downward mobility that we're experiencing right now. Look, the right even made a movie about Hunter Biden's laptop. Like, anyone's going to watch that, especially a year from now. It's always better to be for something than it is to be against the alternative, especially in the minds of the last-minute voters, or the people that might not even have been planning to vote. Number 2, going after Taylor Swift, doubling down on the crazy cat lady insults. What you're doing is you're charging up her apolitical fan base. Now they're going to want a registered vote and come out in droves to vote against you. Look, the meme about her making bad choices in men, yeah, that's funny. That gets a point across, but stop there. Don't insult her. What you should do is maybe talk about inflation and the prices of Taylor Swift concert tickets. Make it count. Number 3, overemphasizing abortion. I'm sure between now and the election, some rhino Republican is going to mention the idea of a national abortion ban. The media is going to run with that and say that Trump also said that he agreed to that. I understand there's a lot of viewpoints on this, but I can't tell you how many people I've talked to in real life over the years that would almost vote Republican, except they're afraid of a national abortion ban. Now, most of them don't actually like the idea of abortion themselves, but they want to keep that option around because as a contingency, you never know what would happen. Respect that. Number 4, get distracted by anti-woke boycotts, like Target and Budweiser. A lot of the online influencers that I follow were freaking out this year when Trump accepted a donation from Budweiser. What about the Budweiser boycott? No one cares about that. That's not going to do anything. It's totally reactionary. Do not waste your time and energy in that. You're doing that because it's too easy. You're too comfortable with it. Go to where you're slightly uncomfortable. Get out there. Talk to people. Volunteer. That brings me to my 5th point. The most important point. The right is not going to get involved. They're going to stay home, sip a beer, watching the game on TV, and merely be a keyboard warrior, and worry more about owning your relatives at Thanksgiving under the President-elect Kamala Harris administration. So what you need to be doing right now is challenging yourself to go where you're a little uncomfortable. Volunteer. You could work for your town board of elections to make sure no one tampers with the ballots or machines on election day. You could attend a school board meeting. Establish your presence there. You could talk to neighbors. Look, you have limited time, so even just offering a ride to, say, an elderly neighbor who's like-minded in the way they vote, talking to a first-time voter in your life, making sure that they understand how the voting process works. Look, a lot of Gen Z is struggling with anxiety, so maybe they're afraid to go out, Maybe you could offer them some support. Make it an event. Invite a friend or a family member. Go get dinner or ice cream afterwards. Have fun with it. You get those people that they don't vote because they think their candidate's going to lose. Look, even if I could see the news in advance the next day and I saw my candidate was going to lose, I would be just as determined to vote. Look, being a keyboard warrior has its place, but there's one time where I volunteered for a very ambitious libertarian campaign on the state level. It was Larry Sharp, and we outnumbered our opponents, Cuomo and Molinaro, 3-1 with our online social media presence. Well, guess what the actual vote was on election day? 5%. So, when you're a keyboard warrior, you feel like you've accomplished something, but in truth, you've actually accomplished a lot less. I'm going to make a follow-up video to all this where I talk about more ideas, and I'll talk in more detail about my experience campaigning and what I learned in the real world. If you want to check out one of my other videos, this was back in May of 2019 when online influencer, YouTuber Sargon of Akkad tried running for office over in England. This guy has a huge presence online, but when he tried to run in real life, it was a bad case of YouTuber meets world. He had this very negative campaign that turned a lot of voters off. And then he proceeded to double down on what wasn't working. Now, I know online, this strategy can help, but in the real world, it just didn't do him any good at all, and I made a video critiquing it in more detail. In the meantime, be sure to subscribe, share my video, and until next time, life, liberty, and survival!